For a long time, the world has believed that customer acquisition cost over customer lifetime value was the magic formula behind any growth strategy. In simple terms, if the average revenue brought in by each customer is significantly higher than how much it costs you to acquire that customer, that metric should say a lot about the marketing efficiency and the level of profitability that you're achieving. However, while that sounds good in theory, in reality, this metric is pretty much useless, at least in the vast majority of the cases. And in this video, I want to show you why. First of all, let's take a look at how it's calculated. Customer lifetime value is the average amount of revenue brought in by a customer throughout their lifetime. So for the entire time they're a customer at your company. Customer acquisition cost is usually calculated as the overall amount of sales and marketing budget required to acquire customers. So let's say that on average, each customer pays you $100 a month and they stay with your company for 2 years. You can estimate how long they're a customer for based on churn levels, current churn levels. So in this case, it would be $100 times 24 months, $2,400 average customer lifetime value. And when it comes to sales and marketing expenses, so you can look at, let's say you're spending $60,000 per quarter on sales and marketing activities, and you have acquired 100 customers in that quarter, then your acquisition cost is $600 per customer. This would put the ratio at 4. So it's a general rule that anything above 3 is a positive lifetime value over acquisition cost. However, it doesn't mean that you're growing profitably. So there are a lot of other expenses within a company. So the fact that this ratio is positive or even above 3 simply means that there is a certain efficiency in your acquisition processes, but it says nothing about the profitability of a company as a whole. Now, the reason why this thing doesn't work is that the whole formula is based on wrong assumptions. When it comes to acquisition cost, that's something that you can estimate pretty accurately. It's still something that would likely change in the future, but at least you have like somewhat a baseline that somewhat makes sense. But when it comes to lifetime value, things are very different. For a lot of startups or scale-ups or companies that are actively developing their product, it's really impossible to predict what those numbers would look like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. Your product is evolving. You're launching new features. You're maybe entering a new segment. You might be moving up market. You might be landing bigger customers. You're expanding existing customers in ways that are really not predictable until your product develops. So basically, this projection of how much value will customers bring in is really pointless because it doesn't factor in so many things that will change when it comes to your product, your pricing, the market, and everything else. Now, there might be very established businesses with a market-leading positions, been on the market for 20 years. They know not much is going to change in the next 5. In those cases, maybe this formula works. But for any startup, any scale-up, really any company that is actively developing their product and doing a lot to attract new customers, attract new segments, expand geographically, moving up market, whatever that may be, it basically destroys all of the assumptions that this formula is based on. And the fact that retention and churn levels will change over time adds an even higher degree of uncertainty, making sure that the whole thing really doesn't make any sense. The good news is that there is this thing called payback time, which is the perfect alternative to that customer lifetime value over CAC model. So instead of focusing on trying to guess the lifetime return of the customers you acquired over the acquisition cost, you should just focus on payback period. How long does it take me to recover the costs spent on acquiring new customers? This is a shorter time frame. It could be 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. So you have a certain level of understanding of what your product might look like, pricing changes, whatever that may be, retention levels. So this really helps with the accuracy of data, and it makes way more accurate and way more useful metric. So you leverage many of the same principles. So It gives insights into marketing efficiency, how cheaply and effectively are you acquiring new customers, and it doesn't come with all of the uncertainty and question marks that the other formula comes with. So focus on reducing your payback period, understanding maybe at a channel level or at an industry or segment level how this metric is different, to identify, for example, portions of your customer base that have a shorter payback period, or channels that are more efficient because they pay back faster. And this can work really well as an indicator of your overall efficiency, and generally can be a guiding metric behind your growth engine. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any comments, if you have worked yourself with some of these metrics, especially in SaaS, let me know. I would love to hear from you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.